What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for joining. My name's Matt. I'm your host here at Creator Crypto. Today, I wanted to make a video talking about two real-world examples that help illustrate the value proposition of cryptocurrencies. And they really help to show why decentralized solutions are the way to go. But before we get into it, if you like what you hear, please give me a like, hit the subscribe button, and let me know what you think down in the comments section. It really helps me to make the show better and sharpen things up. All right, you ready? Let's get into it. All right, so the first example I wanted to step through today is from El Salvador. Now, over the summer, the government passed a law making Bitcoin legal tender. So before, they were dollarized. They used US dollars. That is the currency of the country. They don't have their own centrally issued currency. Now, after this law, and as of September 7th, they have two currencies. They have Bitcoin and the dollar. Now, as part of the rollout and to get going, the government created a digital wallet called the Chivo wallet. There are others. You don't have to use the government-sponsored one, but that is the primary one up to this point. Now, we're about 5 weeks in, and we're starting to get some sense of the response of people to this. Are they downloading it? Are they using it? And we're just starting to see that. So I wanted to show an article from Forbes that kind of lays that out. Now, if you'll recall in a previous video, I talked about one of the key advantages of cryptocurrencies and decentralized solutions in general is the ability to expand access to services, specifically banking services. And so it's in that context I wanted to show these numbers because in El Salvador, it's a perfect example of you got a huge percentage of the population that doesn't have access. And now with the embrace of digital currencies, they have access with their phone and through this digital wallet. All they need is an internet connection, and they have access to a way to securely transact in a modern way. And now they can engage globally in the global marketplace, right? What an amazing, huge step forward. So let's take a look at the data right now. Okay, so the legislation to make Bitcoin legal tender went into effect on September 7th, 2021. So we have about 5 weeks of data. In El Salvador, they have a population of about 6.8 million people. And of that 6.8 million, 3 million have already downloaded the Bitcoin wallet, amounting to 46% of the population. You know, compare that to the only 29% that had access under the traditional infrastructure, traditional banking there, right? Immediately, almost doubled the access right away. So just a clear testament to the ability of the technology to extend access to the unbanked. Very cool. Now, this doesn't speak to the larger success of Bitcoin as legal tender, as a currency medium of exchange. The survey, the jury's very much still out on that. And it makes a point of telling us that merchant adoption is gradual and that 93% of companies have reported receiving no payments in Bitcoin. So that's going to take a little bit longer, but it implies that that's due to a reluctance on the part of El Salvadorans to spend Bitcoin. They appear to be hanging on to it. So just a very interesting dynamic here. But with regard to access, the article finishes with the statement that most importantly, the impact of Chivo is likely greater among low-income Salvadorians who have access to smartphones but not banks. Among El Salvador's two poorest quintiles, many of whom live in rural areas, only 6% have bank accounts. If El Salvador's poorest can benefit from Bitcoin, everyone can. Just a really cool way and solution for people who have been left out. And now they have access, they have a way of participating and a way of building wealth. Whereas before they were being left behind because they didn't have access. So super cool. We'll keep an eye on this going forward. So next I wanted to talk about a piece of news that dropped yesterday. So some of you may or may not know Anthony Pompliano. He's a vocal proponent of Bitcoin primarily, but cryptocurrency and blockchain solutions generally. He's very active in the space. He does a lot. Smart guy. But one of the things he does is he runs a show called The Best Business Show on YouTube. And it's he and his brothers, talking about current events, what's happening in the space. And they do interviews with, people of influence in the space. He's a big influential person in cryptocurrencies. And yesterday he found out that his YouTube channel had been taken down. He really wasn't given any explanation why, he claims. And he doesn't have any kind of strikes that would be associated normally with someone being removed or having their channel taken down. It eventually was restored, but they didn't really provide much context or reason as to why. There's kind of a vague characterization, and then it just came back up. So the point in this particular instance is not to debate the merit or the decision. It's just to highlight that it can happen, and it doesn't seem like there's always a very fair or transparent means to do that. So let's take a look at the article. All right, so I'm on Cointelegraph.com just to walk through the events surrounding Anthony Pompliano having his YouTube channel taken down. Now, he has about 251,000 subscribers. And on Monday, he let his Twitter following know that YouTube had informed him that one of the interviews he conducted had encouraged illegal activities. And then shortly thereafter, his entire channel was removed for about 2 hours before ultimately being returned to the platform. Now, he says that YouTube first stated that the content was harmful and dangerous and that he would be receiving a strike, which is kind of YouTube's warning system. But then he received a second email saying the channel was being deleted seconds later. Now, he says he hasn't ever received any strikes and has had no violations of YouTube's community guidelines. So it was a surprise to him, and he's claiming he really didn't have any chance to understand what happened. Or to remedy it before his work was just removed. Now, of course, YouTube reserves the right to do what they want with their infrastructure, and that's the point, right? If you're building on somebody else's infrastructure, ultimately you're subject to their rules. So in this case, it appeared to be a seemingly arbitrary removal of the account of a major player in the crypto space, and it highlights the danger of relying on a centralized platform like YouTube. So ultimately, somebody else owns that. And if they don't like what you do, they can take you down. And that's where blockchain and decentralized solutions can offer an alternative. All right, so that's it for today. That's the show. I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you like what you heard. If you did, give me a like, hit subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments section. I appreciate any feedback you have. Until next time.